If you don't mind, just coming to the podium, since it's so hard to hear.
For residents of Cheatham County, my client still resides at the marital residence. I think he's lived there some 12 years. And when they divorced, the parties entered essentially an agreed parenting plan and a marital dissolution agreement. And the mother, when she separated from the father, went to her parents' home in Alabama, in Alexander City, which is some not quite 300 miles away from the father's home in Pleasant View. And the father did agree that the mother and the child could relocate. Of course, the mother could relocate wherever she wanted, but he agreed that the child could reside primarily in Alexander City, Alabama, which is in kind of the northern part, maybe towards the east a little bit, from Huntsville. And so what the parties have been doing since 2023 is they have been meeting, and they've been both driving about 2 hours, and they've been exchanging the child every other weekend. So when the father, it would be our position, Your Honor, that when the father agreed for the child to live in Alabama, it was with the intent that the child would reside with the mother in Alexander City. And the proof will show today that the purpose for him agreeing to that was that the mother would have the support of her extended family, her parents, and such, and that the child would have the benefit of that. And the child would be close enough where the child could still maintain a significant relationship with the father. And they've been doing that since 2023. It also has provided the father with the ability to like go to the father-daughter dance at school and go to different school functions. And so it's not been ideal, but it's been something that has worked, and the parties have been able to facilitate. So in November of last year, Your Honor, my client received notice from the mother of her intent to relocate to Alberta, Alabama, which I had to look up where Alberta is. It is near the coast, and it is about 500 miles, give or take just a little bit, from the father's home. So that now puts the child in a position where the child is no longer going to be residing near the child's maternal grandparents, and she's going to be some 200 miles further from the father than she was when the parties divorced. It's our understanding that the mother has remarried and that her husband resides in southern Alabama, and that she wishes to reside with him. We believe that she's already moved there. We believe that the proof will show that, but that's what she's going to be asking for today, Your Honor. And it's our position that, number one, the proof will be incumbent upon the mother to prove that the relocation is in the best interest of the child. Proof is a little different when the parties are not exercising equal intervals of time. But we do believe that it is not in the best interest of the child to relocate with the mother. The father is stable. He has a significant relationship with the child. He has stable employment. He still resides in the residence that the child's familiar with and lived at for the first 5 years of her life. The father also has family in the area, and that will be beneficial to the child as well. So we're asking, Your Honor, today to find that well, number one, I do think that we have agreed to stipulate that a material change has occurred. So both parties have alleged that, and in speaking with opposing counsel this morning, we have agreed to stipulate that there's been a material change. Essentially the mother's remarriage and moving some 200 miles further from the father. So it will be incumbent upon the mother to prove best interest for the relocation if the court determines that she should remain the primary residential parent. It's our position also that the factors today, some will be favorable to the mother, in favor of the mother. Some will be favorable to the father. Many will be neutral. But The father hasn't moved since the divorce. He's remained stable. The mother's not only moved from the marital residence, she's now asking to move again and likely one more time because it appears that maybe a house is being constructed. So it will be our position that the evidence will show in favor of the father and that the court should in fact grant our petition requesting that his parenting plan be adopted, which is essentially giving all the school breaks to the mother, majority of the summer, spring and fall break, alternating some of the holidays, but many of the holidays to the mother, offering that the mother have one weekend a month in Alberta and one weekend per month in Cheatham County. The parties have essentially their plans, their proposed parenting plans are very close to one another, although the father has been more generous with the offer to the mother in regards to time in the summer. We also are concerned about the amount of time that the child's going to spend in the car. My client's concerned about her safety and just the detriment of being in the car that long, that often. So he would propose that there be some air travel in the mix of vehicle travel. So we are asking the court to approve that there be some air travel. And ultimately, Your Honor, again, we believe that the proof will bear that it's in the best interest of the child for the father to be designated as the primary parent.
Mm.
Your Honor, we did stipulate that there is a material change. We do find that a further distance makes their every other weekend plan unattainable just because of the amount of travel on the child. We have proposed a parenting plan that maximizes dad's parenting time, taking into consideration when this child is off from school. Again, father and mother entered into an agreed parenting plan less than in 2023, I believe, and father willingly accepted 85 days. When they litigated this, he was actually represented by counsel and entered into this voluntarily. My client wasn't even represented by counsel at that time. He found that to be in the best interest for him to exercise that parenting plan. You will hear from him today about his work schedule. You will hear that he has been offered additional parenting time and does not accept that when it is offered to him. You know, mom has always been the primary residential parent to this child. This child has a disorder called ulcerative colitis, which we will go over today. Mom has been on top of that disorder since this child has been diagnosed with it. Again, it would be very detrimental, and I don't think that the petitioner can meet the standard to flip-flop who is the primary residential parent. And so we would ask that you would adopt the parenting plan that has been carefully considered by mother and proposed and adopt that as a court order. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Loomis, you may call your first witness. Is anyone other than the parties who's going to be a witness, you must go outside of the courtroom and remain outside of the courtroom until you're called to testify. You must not discuss the testimony of any other witness with anyone until you yourself have testified. So counsel will be under continuing duty to ensure that the rule is complied with. Smith, you'll come up. Need you to stand and raise your right hand and face our clerk to be placed under oath. Come on, have a seat in the witness stand. You may need to move that microphone up a little bit. And bring it down. This building is beautiful, but it has terrible acoustics, so we need you to speak kind of directly into the microphone. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Smith, would you state your name for the court, please?
Matthew Smith,
All right, Mr. Smith, where do you live?
1820 Cardinal Drive, Pleasant View, Tennessee,
And how long have you lived in that home?
13 years.
And was that the home that was utilized as the marital residence when you were married to Elizabeth Smith?
It is,
All right, and is that the home you brought your daughter home to when she was born?
absolutely.
All right, and if you would describe the home to the court.
It's not a big home. It's 1,100 square foot. Uh, but it's in a nice quiet neighborhood. It's on a cul-de-sac, so we have low traffic. Kind of monitor, what goes on and,
All right, and so Emma, your daughter is Emma Grace, is that right? And does she seem comfortable in the home when she comes to visit with you?
of course.
You know,
What do those photographs depict?
Uh, what it looks like inside
So-
and our, I guess, way of living, if you will.
All right, so you have photographs of the exterior of your house, the kitchen, the living room, a bathroom, a bedroom, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that Emma's bedroom?
Yes, it is with the pink curtains there.
She has her own bedroom, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and. I did it.
Exhibit 1.
Sir, now you have not remarried, is that true?
That's correct.
So who lives in the house, with you? Does anyone live in the house with you?
No, just myself.
Okay. And, so when your daughter comes, it's just you and her in the house primarily, is that right? Now, are you in a relationship with someone?
I am,
And what's her name?
Abigail Murdoch.
And is she sometimes in the home?
She is,
Okay. And how long have you been in a relationship with Miss Murdoch?
roughly 2 years.
2 years? Okay. And does she have a good relationship with Emma? Okay. And does she have a daughter?
She does.
And how old is her daughter?
Her daughter is 15.
And
Sorry, 16. She's
16.
16.
and is her daughter occasionally in the home with
She
you?
is,
Okay. And do her and Emma enjoy one another?
of course.
All right. And sir, where do you work?
TKE elevator.
And what do you
Speak
do?
up, okay?
Yes, sir.
What do you do there?
I'm an elevator technician.
And how long have you worked there?
A little over 8 years.
And, okay. And sir, what do you
Uh, yearly or hourly, I don't know what I do. I am, sorry.
what is your hourly rate?
59.41, I believe.
And what are your hours?
40 hours a week, Monday through Thursday.
Okay. And are you off on Friday?
I am,
Okay. And then what time do you go in the morning?
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock in the morning? And what time do you get off?
4:30.
So right now you're working essentially, it sounds like maybe 4 10-hour days. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you discussed with your employer, the fact that you're asking for your daughter to come live with you primarily?
Absolutely.
And have you been assured that your hours can have some flexibility if that were to occur?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Okay.
correct.
And what would you be able to, change your hours to, should you be successful today and Emma come and live with you primarily?
It would change to 5/8 and it wouldn't start till after I dropped him off at school.
All right, so you would work, Monday through Friday, and then you would go in like at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And then would you come home at what time? At 5?
Roughly 4:35 right there.
And then at that point, would you drop Emma off at school personally? Would you be able to do that?
In the morning, yes, ma'am.
And then would she attend aftercare after school until you were able to pick her up?
She would.
Okay. All right. And then, sir, let's get back to what you're earning.
It's a pay stub of mine.
All right. And is the pay ending date 6/19
Yes, ma'am.
of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you will look at your earnings to date, does it state that your gross pay is $38,738.02?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you also have a NT expense where it appears through June 19 of 25 that you were paid $772.02. What does that expense reflect?
That it reflects where I paid out of pocket for certain things for the particular job that I'm on, and the company reimbursing me.
Okay, so that's for an expense that you paid. It's not for income that you earned.
No,
Is
ma'am.
that right? All right. So then would it be your position that that should be deducted from your gross pay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Maybe I have that back.
Is it two?
Now, your divorce became final in May of 2023. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And when you separated from your wife, um, how did you discover that you were in fact separated?
I got an email that said basically the dogs were fed and that we left.
The
Now,
dogs were fed and they had left.
and I had no idea where they were at. I had no idea they left the state without consulting, or I had to call around for a couple of days to find out where my daughter was at. And um, initially, that's what kind of rolled the divorce into play. Not being able to see my daughter is the reason why I filed to begin with.
All right. And where did you learn that your wife had taken your daughter at that point in time?
I finally got in touch with my former mother-in-law, and she answered the phone and
Was your
said
daughter-
they are here.
All right. And where is here? Where did your mother-in-law, your former mother-in-law reside?
That was Alexander City, Alabama.
Okay. And describe to the court where Alexander City, Alabama is.
It's kind of in between Auburn and Birmingham, about 30 minutes from Auburn, so towards the eastern side. But it's a good clip.
Okay. And when you say towards the eastern, you mean, okay, east of Birmingham.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long had you and your wife been married?
7, 8 years.
Okay. And so you knew your in-laws rather well, right? They've
Yes,
been
ma'am.
part of your family for a good while. And did you believe that they were close to your daughter and had a good relationship with her?
The grandmother did travel back and forth and to see Emma a good bit for the first couple of years. So I did believe that Emma, had a good relationship with the grandmother.
Okay. And ultimately, did you and your ex-wife, did you discuss she and Emma, specifically Emma, continuing to reside with her in Alexander City, Alabama?
No, ma'am, not before we agreed on the divorce and how that paperwork laid out, I guess.
But ultimately, you did agree that the mother would be the primary parent of Emma. Is that right?
I did.
Okay. And you agreed that she could relocate. Now, your paperwork says to Alabama. When you signed and entered that parenting plan, what did you believe or understand that to have meant?
Well, the wordage in the papers states within 50 miles of the primary residence, within the state or within 50 miles.
Are you talking about where the relocation statute is set out?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't dispute that your paperwork says that the mother can relocate to the state of Alabama,
I
is that
did.
right?
I do not.
Okay. But was it your understanding that if she were to move more than 50 miles from that location or outside the state of Alabama, that she would have to provide you with notice and prove certain things if you objected?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you ever, when you entered that parenting plan, did you ever intend on it meaning that she could live anywhere in the state of Alabama, that your daughter could live anywhere in the state of Alabama that the mother chose?
No, ma'am.
Show you a copy.
Selena, so that I'm sure, make sure that I'm following everything correctly. I'm looking at the court file, and the primary and the permanent parenting plan that I'm looking at is May 23rd of 2023.
That is correct.
And that designates them as joint primary residential parents. So there was never a designation of either of them as the primary residential parent, correct?
That is correct, John.
So we are today going to be establishing a primary residential parent for the first time, as well as schedule.
That is correct, John.
It makes a difference on what I'm doing as far
Certainly.
as the evidence and the burden of proof for the court to consider if it's a change of primary residential parent.
That is absolutely correct, Your Honor. It does designate them as joint primary residential parent. And then, sir, may I approach, Your Honor?
You know, you may be the primary residential parent in fact, but under the language of the order that was signed by Judge Lockett Knapp, these parties were designated as joint primary residential parents. I just point that out. I understand what you're saying, and it was not an equal division of time, so.
And we don't deny that the child's residing primary. No, but Your Honor is correct. It does designate them as joint. All right, sir. Parenting plan.
A Raceway gas station in Priceville, Alabama. It's right about Decatur, if you guys are familiar with Decatur.
So very close to
It's-
Huntsville, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. It's 2.5 hours from Pleasantview.
And about the same distance from the mother's home, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, are you still meeting there?
Yes.
And what time do you exercise right now with your daughter?
Every other weekend, and then we alternate holidays. And we alternate spring and fall breaks, and 2 weeks. 2 weeks in the summer, 1 week at Christmas every year.
Okay, and all of the travel has been by car, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when you have your daughter with you, describe the types of things that you do. What kind of activities do you do? What's your weekend look like?
I mean, we do all kinds of things together. I mean, usually when we get home Friday night, it's usually fairly late from traveling. So there's not a lot to do, but eat and hang out and watch TV and go to sleep, but Saturdays is usually have some sort of errands planned, and then she gets up, she helps clean, she helps do chores, and then we go off to venture, whether it's, go play, do something outside, or sometimes we'll leave and go somewhere and, I'll take her go dancing maybe on Saturday night sometimes. Um, just anything to get to spend that time with her.
Okay.
She does pretty much everything that I would do without her. She does that with me.
Okay. All right. And then who lives in the area, as far as your family?
I've got several aunts and uncles. I've got my grandparent that live in the area. I've got my mother, which I don't see her a whole lot, but I do have quite a bit of family here in Pleasant View.
Okay. And is your daughter familiar with your family?
Yes, ma'am.
And does your daughter get to see your family very often right now?
Yes, ma'am.
And does she enjoy being around your family?
Yes.
Are you concerned that if her mother moves some 200 miles further south, that her time with either sets of grandparents and extended family is going to be limited?
Yes, ma'am.
Was one of the reasons why you agreed for her to live primarily in her mother's care? Was it because there was extended family there as well?
Of course.
Okay. And tell the court what your involvement has been in Emma's school. Have you been able, with the distance right now of almost 300 miles, have you still been able to be involved in her school?
I have.
Okay.
Not as much as what I'd like. I haven't got to make all the field trips, but I have been to the school several times for dances. I was running a little late for one little ceremony thing, which I regret, but I have tried to make all the school events that I can possibly go to or be invited to.
Okay.
I've never missed a single visitation with her in the over 2 years that we've had the divorce, or we've been separated, other than the doctor not releasing me because of surgery on my foot. That was one weekend out of 2.5, I'd say 2 years and 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Now you mentioned surgery. Let's talk about the surgery. So you had foot surgery, was it this year?
Yes, ma'am.
When was it?
In January,
Okay.
beginning of January.
And what kind of surgery? I mean, I know it was foot surgery, but
It was called a plantar fasciotomy.
okay. And were you in a boot?
I
or-
was.
Okay. Could you not drive for a period of time?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
How long was it before you could drive after surgery?
A 2-week period.
So did you miss a visitation during that time?
One weekend, yes, ma'am.
Have there been times when the mother has offered you extra time that you've not been able to accept because of work or surgery or something of that nature?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, the surgery, and there has been times where I've already had work scheduled where she's wanted me to get her an extra day. Prior to this year, the previous summer, I got her several weeks in a row on the Fridays that I normally don't work. I got her several weeks in a row that year, but I haven't this year. Just because, one, I didn't want to get in trouble with the court and do something that they're not, requiring or saying, for me to do.
Do you understand, and I don't think you did, but do you understand now that you and the mother, you can deviate from the parenting plan if you agree, as far as the schedule goes?
I wasn't under the impression that we could change anything
Okay.
outside of what it called for.
Okay. So, and often the court will encourage that, if you're able to, if you agree. If you don't agree, then you have a parenting plan to fall back on. So, what are your concerns about the mother relocating 200 more miles from your home?
One, well, my daughter doesn't have any of the support from the extended family outside of the guy she married. She doesn't have anybody down there. My dad is down there, couple hours away temporarily, but he's not gonna be there long. So she has nobody that I know that I can trust her with down there. And, you know, in the event of a storm or hurricane or anything for that matter, she doesn't have the support. And two, just being that far away from me, like, takes me completely out of any school events that I could possibly want to attain or go to. Pretty much takes me out of her life as a dad in a big way. And because a lot of that I did agree to in Alex City initially, because I could make that drive and still be functional and still be in those events and things. But I can't do that when she's 8+ hours away.
Right, right. Tell the court what it has meant to your daughter for you to be able to participate in some of those school things. What have you seen as far as her responses to you going to the school, going to the daddy-daughter dance and those types of things?
She's just ecstatic. Me and my daughter, we're two peas in a pod, and I think anybody would tell you that. She means the world to me, and you know, anytime that we get together, she wants it, and she asks me all the time to stay. Daddy, can I just stay? You know, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, and I don't want her to go either.
Sure. If the court, well, let me ask you, have you met your ex-wife's new husband?
I have not.
Do you even know when they were married or if they're married?
I assume they got married back late last year.
Okay, but that's an assumption, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you've not been able to meet him.
No, ma'am.
Now, we asked several questions in our discovery, the questions that we sent to your ex-wife to answer about the ex-husband. Do you remember what those responses were?
Not all of them, no, ma'am, but some of them.
Were many of them that it wasn't relevant to the case and were answers not provided?
That's correct.
Does that concern you?
It does. I don't know if there's something there or not. I just don't know.
Okay. Do you know that he has children?
I do.
Okay, and how do you know that?
Well, my daughter immigrated. She tells me everything.
Okay. And your ex-wife did disclose that there were 2 children, or 3 children actually, that he has in her discovery. Is that right? She did disclose that, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you don't have
Let me
any,
make sure I'm understanding. You're saying that they declined to answer any questions about her present husband?
for the most part, Your Honor, yes, the majority of the questions. And you don't have any other children, is that right?
No, ma'am.
And the mother doesn't have any other children, does she?
No.
She has no biological children. Okay. And if she's been married to this man, you believe it would only be for a few months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so if she were to reside primarily here, would she go to Pleasant View Elementary School?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Okay. And then in 5th grade, would she go to Sycamore Middle School?
Yes, ma'am.
And then in high school, she would go to Sycamore High School. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you heard opposing counsel in opening statement state that your daughter that she suffers from colitis.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. Tell the court a little bit about that. When was that diagnosis made?
I believe she was 2 years old. It's basically a disease where one cell attacks their stomach lining and causes internal bleeding. And some of it is believed to be brought on by certain foods, but a big part of it is brought on by stress. And so I try to, maintain and make sure she's not in a stressful environment. We're having a good time. Not that everything's always hunky-dory, but
Right,
But,
can't have a good time all the time.
right. But it flares up from time to time and she will start bleeding a little bit. And, so that's something that I'm definitely mindful of, and I definitely try to keep under wraps.
Okay.
As far as cooking good meals for her, and, just making sure that she, she's not getting worked up over, silly stuff.
Okay, all right. And do you feel like you're perfectly capable to follow doctor's instructions in regards to her condition?
Absolutely.
Are,
100%.
are you perfectly capable of being aware of signs and symptoms of when she's having a flare-up?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have concerns that perhaps her diet's not being followed carefully at mom's house?
I do.
And what are those concerns?
Mainly just, just small talk with my daughter about, what do you want to eat? Well, what have you been eating lately or whatever? And most of the time she tells me hot dogs, which is not a horrible food, but it's not great because it's processed. And I'm not going to say that I don't give her hot dogs. She's a kid, and yeah, of course I do. But, just this last week, I asked her, what would you have for dinner? Well, mama said I can have a Nutella sandwich, which is just straight sugar. So it's not, I'm not saying that it's all bad there. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, I do have concerns about, what she's getting fed and her stomach condition there.
Okay. And you would be able to find a pediatrician, and the necessary, maybe the IG doctor to care for her here. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. She had one here.
Okay. Was her original doctor here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And would you be able to get off work to take her to the doctor if necessary?
Of course.
Okay. And then in the summer, so I want to make sure that I understand and you understand, you're proposing in your proposed parenting plan that your daughter reside primarily with the mother during the summer. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And let me get that so you can be looking at it. Let's just go through.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you proposing that the mother where she would reside involved in one weekend for month and she,
Yes, ma'am.
and are you also on the condition if she wanted to put to Tennessee over in
Yes, ma'am.
and
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
standard share of person.
Yes, ma'am.
You're at.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
And then in the summer, are you asking to have the first 2 weeks of the summer vacation? And then she has 6 consecutively?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Providing that, air travel is not done. Yes, ma'am.
Not in the car. 8 hours each way, once a month, if possible.
Absolutely.
Tell the court why is that?
Statistically, I'm not a big statistic guy, but the chances of her getting in an accident are a lot higher if she's traveling 2 to 4 times, 8 hours each way per month.
So you worry about that, is that correct?
I really do.
Okay. And what airport would she be close to, if the mother did relocate with her? Or if the mother visits with her from Baldwin County.
Pensacola.
All right, do you know how far that is from Pensacola?
I would say roughly 45 minutes, an hour, I'm guessing. I didn't really put a
So
tape on it.
not terribly far for the mother to drive to facilitate air travel, right?
No, ma'am.
And not terribly far for you in Nashville to get her to and from the airport here. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so whatever the decision the court makes today, are you asking the court to consider allowing your daughter to travel back and forth between you and the mother via air travel?
I am. Yes, ma'am.
I want to back up. You received notification from the mother of her intent to relocate in the late, well, I guess early winter, November of 2024. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. This is posted certified mail with a notice regarding parental relocation.
All right.
Yes, ma'am, it does. Yes, ma'am. Alberta, Alabama. Yes, ma'am. She said that the pickup and drop off times would not change. In effort to protect the father and the daughter's time together. I do. I do. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Emma,
I do.
you believe she can handle it?
Yes.
Okay. What would that mean in the car for her though? That'd be 8.5 hours each way, right? If she drove.
Oh, I was referring to by air, but
You believe she could handle it if it were by air?
yes, ma'am.
All right. And then
Seems we have much longer to go with this.
yeah, I probably have another 30 minutes.
Let's go ahead and take our lunch hour down and be back in 1:15.
And are you able to pay your bills? Okay.
Absolutely.
Are you current on your bills?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a house payment?
Yes, ma'am.
How much is that house payment?
I think the taxes went up. It's right there around 800 a month.
800. And then you have your utilities, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you have a car payment?
No, ma'am.
All right. So you have insurance, I'm sure, gas and all the normal things that people have just to live from day to day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But you're able to pay those and you're not delinquent in any debt currently.
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And then in your stability, your job is stable,
Yes, ma'am.
not likely going anywhere anytime soon with it.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to talk with some cards and drawings and such. May I approach you? What are those?
These are letters that Emma wrote me and sent in the mail.
Okay. Are these from your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And her mother was kind enough to send these to you or to help Emma send them to you. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And just look at the first one with the drawing. I think we all guessed it. We said it was a bull. Is that a bull?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a rider on top of it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, I'll pass these up so you can be looking at them as well. Mr. Smith, what does the drawing say with the bull rider?
Says, I love you so much. You're the best night I've ever had. And I'm really glad to have you. I love you, Emma.
Okay. And then the next one with the rainbow.
Dear Daddy, I love you. How's work going? I miss Miss Abby. Is Miss Abby doing good? Say hi to Uncle Stephen. I miss you and Miss Abby. I love camping. When I'm coming back, when am I coming back? I love Emma Grace Smith.
Do you and she go camping sometimes?
We do.
Okay. And have you taken her to a rodeo?
I have. We go watch bull riding together. It's one of the things we do.
Where do you go watch bull riding around here?
Just different rodeos. around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what does the third one say?
Dear Daddy, I love you so much. I love you to the moon and back. You are so special to me. I'm not sure what the rest of that is.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you have received these over time? Because it looks like the rainbow one, the writing's improving somewhat.
Yes, these are just the most recent.
Okay. All right. And does it mean a lot to you when you receive those?
It really does.
Collectively. She asked about Miss Abby, and Abby's your girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said you've been in a relationship with her about 2 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Live with her stable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does she do drugs?
No, ma'am.
Okay. She in trouble with the law?
No, ma'am.
Do you do drugs?
No, ma'am.
Are you in trouble with the law at all? Do you?
Never have been. No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. You don't drink too much, do you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, there's been some assertions by your wife or your ex-wife that she believes that you have a porn addiction. You're familiar that she feels that way. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever watched pornographic material in front of your daughter?
Absolutely not.
And just, I mean, tell the court, is that something that you have a problem with?
It is not. It is something I do occasionally, once every couple months, maybe, if I had to put a number on it. But
Okay,
it's not something that I have an issue. It's just a stress relief.
okay. And is there any material or anything that your daughter could get her hands on?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And if she were to live with you full time, or even when she visits with you, do you take steps to make sure that she doesn't have access to any of that material?
I do.
Okay. And do you have a passcode on your phone?
I do have passcode and fingerprint and facial recognition
Okay.
to get into my phone.
Okay. And you've never been charged with any type of crime in that regards, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Nothing you're doing is illegal. Is that right?
No, ma'am.
And then how is your communication with Ms. Smith?
I'd say that it's on a need to know basis.
Okay. She keeps you informed she does a pretty good job of keeping you informed. You would agree to that, right?
Yes, ma'am, she does.
Okay. She notifies you when your daughter has special events.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she lets you know, for example, if you're going to the school, where to go, and what time you need to be there. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, she was a school teacher at your daughter's school.
She was.
Okay. All right. And, um, do you respond most often when she reaches out to you?
If it's a message that needs a response, a lot of times I feel that she's just being chatty and I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But if it's, I need to communicate in order to, whatever take place with the arrangements or whatever, then I will do that.
Okay.
But I don't communicate unnecessarily, I guess.
Okay. Is
She was-
she probably, does she maybe talk more than you do or communicate more than you do? Are you kind of quiet?
For sure.
Okay. Now, if the court were to designate you as the PRP and your daughter resided with you primarily, are you willing to increase your communication?
Yes, as it needs it.
Would you be willing to notify the mother of any doctor's appointments, school functions, those types of things?
Of course.
Would you be willing to send letters to mom if Emma asked you to?
Of course.
Okay. Initiate phone calls, those types of things.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Um, have there been things just with Emma living 4 hours away that you haven't been able to attend that you wish you could have?
I mean, the fact that she's getting to the age where she is going to start attending sports and those kind of things is something that I would miss out on a daily basis. 4 hours away.
Well, she's 4 hours right now. Well, how far is she right now? 4 hours?
Well, they already moved.
Well, presume prior to the move, if they've already moved, how it's 4 hours from here to Alexander City, where your ex-wife's parents lived and where she lived. Is that right?
5 hours.
5?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So 2.5 each way. All right. My question to you is, have there been things just with there being a 5.5 hour distance that you've not been able to attend because of the 5.5 hour distance?
I wouldn't say that it's because of that. Some of it was on me. I
Okay.
did show up late to one of her events. I mistook the time that was sent to me. That was my mistake.
Okay.
Um,
How late were you?
a couple hours, but I went
Okay.
ahead and drove the whole way and showed up anyway to get her.
Okay. Okay.
I would say that, her day-to-day stuff, like just me being in her life daily, I've missed out on.
Sure. Just by her being 5.5 hours late.
Right.
Away, not late.
And
Right.
then, like on Sundays, I don't per se get to take her to church a whole lot because we're traveling, during the middle of the day to go to church or to go to the meeting spot.
What time does the current parenting plan have you meeting the mother on Sunday?
1:00.
And in order to make that meeting time, what time do you have to leave Pleasant View?
10:00.
You have to leave at 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're on the road by 10. Okay. Your daughter likes to attend church, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And would you like to be able to take her to church?
I would. I actually have taken her a couple occasions to my church
Mhm.
and then a couple occasions to my girlfriend's church, which they have a Saturday evening service. So we've attended that a couple of times.
Okay. All right. And I'm sure you're going to be asked about your daughter was baptized recently, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was that?
I was back last year.
Okay. And were you not able to go to her baptism?
I wasn't.
And why is that?
I couldn't get off work.
Okay. Was it on a Sunday? Did you have to work on, you have to work
Well,
overtime sometimes?
At the
don't you?
time, I was working a lot of weekends to try
Okay.
and make things,
So-
make ends meet.
So that was back in 24.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Sir, I want to show you, you should. just handed you?
This is the, what you call, the directions from Pleasant View to Alex City.
Okay. And how many miles, if you look at the top right, how many, and this is to where you had agreed for the mother to live, and for your daughter to reside primarily with initially in the divorce. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how many drive miles is it?
296.
Okay. All right. And then which again is the directions. And how many, and this is from the new proposed address, is that right? To your address?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the drive miles?
493 miles.
All right. So almost 200 miles additional.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd like to move to mark this as the next elected exhibit. Sir, do you believe that your environment where you live and your situation with work, your housing and such, do you believe that you have a more stable environment for Emma?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Tell the court why.
Well, one, starting with the surroundings, we have a lower crime rate here. But bigger than that, she has the support of all my family that lives here.
Okay.
On top of me being there emotionally and physically for her.
Okay. And you have, where were you born and raised?
Born in North Carolina, raised here in
Raised here.
Middle Tennessee.
Okay. How long have you lived in Middle Tennessee?
My whole life, pretty much since I was a baby.
Okay. And you said you lived in the marital residence for 12 years.
13, roughly. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Worked at your job for 8 years.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the marital residence is is the house that your child was brought back to after she was born.
It is.
Do you have any plans on moving again?
No, ma'am.
Now, what kind of work does your ex-wife's new husband do? What have you been told?
I heard that he was assistant pastor at a church
Okay.
and maybe a coach of some sort. And that's all I've been told.
Okay. And are you concerned that there might be subsequent moves in the future?
I am. I've been in church, pretty much my whole life, and I know how much pastors bounce around from church to church until they find a home where they want to settle down, and that's something that we've seen in our church a lot, and I just know that it's likely.
Right. Seems like you just get used to a pastor and they move, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And do you believe that that would be in your daughter's best interest to move from place to place?
I don't.
Would you like to see her in a stable, at a stable location, and have the opportunity to go to the same school, have the same friends, those types of things?
I would. That's
What grade was she in this past year?
first grade.
All right. And so she'll be going into the second grade.
Yes, ma'am.
So she'll not only switch communities, she'll switch schools as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pass you as a witness to opposing counsel. So just stay put. Oh, if I could, just for clarification, Your Honor, well, let me just ask him if I could ask him one more thing. I had asked you about discovery responses that your ex-wife had filled where she made some objections regarding questions regarding her husband to be, whichever it is. She actually, after those objections, did provide us with some information. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Maybe not all information, but she did provide some information. Okay. All right. That's the witness.
Yeah, and just going off of the, when we did discovery a while ago, you never through counsel sent a deficiency letter to us to let us know that you wanted more information. Is that correct?
Regarding,
If any questions we objected to,
I didn't know that was an option, but no, ma'am, I didn't.
and y'all never issued supplemental questions to us? Okay. And the objections we had were to providing some personal information related to his children, but we told you generally that he has 3 kids. We just didn't tell you their names or date of birth. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
And we also didn't tell you his rate of pay, but we told you what he does for a living. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I want to go back to just, again, you and your divorce. So you and the mother entered into an agreed permanent parenting plan. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And under that plan, you agreed that mother could relocate to Alabama with your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you never filed anything to the court to have her return to Tennessee?
No, ma'am.
And no one forced you to agree to that relocation. Is that fair?
No, ma'am.
And you were represented by an attorney during the proceedings. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you had every opportunity at that time to raise an objection to the relocation. Is that correct?
I was advised against it.
Okay. But you had that option. Is that correct?
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you signed a parenting plan that you thought was in the best interest that gave you 85 days of parenting time. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understood that by signing that plan, you were voluntarily limiting your parenting time with your daughter based on what you thought was in the best interest. Is that correct?
Can you ask that again? I'm
I
sorry.
mean, it was all voluntary. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You voluntarily took only 2 weeks in the summer, even with the long distance. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you agreed that living with her mom was in your daughter's best interest. Is that correct?
At the time, yes, ma'am.
And while, the box was checked that y'all were joint primary, you agreed for mom to have significantly more parenting time than you. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at the time that y'all entered this parenting plan, mom was not even represented by an attorney. Is that correct?
She used the same one I used.
Well, you were represented. Okay, but she didn't have her own attorney. Is that fair?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, in the plan, there's no attorney signature for her. Is that fair?
I can't speak on something I don't know, honestly.
Well, do you think you had a full and fair opportunity to negotiate your parenting time at that time?
It was my mistake to listen to my prior attorney that said that I would never get her to stay in Tennessee. That's a mistake I made. But yes, to answer your question.
But you could have always gotten new counsel if you didn't like their advice. Is that fair?
That's fair.
You had that option.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it true that you've seen mom's proposed parenting plan? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that plan allows you the same amount of parenting time, if not more. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're aware that your daughter has been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which we touched upon, correct? And this is would you agree that that's a chronic medical condition that requires ongoing management and monitoring?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you agree that it can require, if she has a flare-up, urgent medical attention and prescription adjustments?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the name of her current gastroenterologist?
I'm not, I can't remember right off the top of my,
Since that diagnosis, how many medical appointments have you attended with your daughter for her, with her gastroenterologist?
just believe two.
2 appointment. You went down to Alabama to go to those?
No, that they were here in Tennessee.
Has mom attended every appointment with your daughter?
I'm assuming,
Have you ever taken her to a gastroenterologist appointment by yourself?
no, ma'am.
Can you even name the last date that she went to the doctor?
No, ma'am.
But you get updates from mom about what goes on at the doctor's, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Have you ever had to schedule any of her appointments, follow up with the labs, or request records for your daughter's health care?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever had to take her to the emergency or urgent care for her ulcerative colitis?
No, ma'am.
Are you aware of the medication she takes daily to manage her symptoms?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you know the dosage and frequency?
I just know what the mother sends, because she takes it out of the pill bottles and that kind of thing. So I know how many she takes in the morning and the evening.
So she puts it in like a thing where you can give it.
Calendar. Yes, ma'am.
So you trust mom to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when your daughter's in your care, who ensures that she takes the medication properly?
In my care, I am.
You do, but based on what mom tells you, not based on what you heard from the doctor? You rely on mom to take care of that? Tell you
Well,
what she needs?
I do now because it was a liquid medication. So the dosage obviously is written on the bottle or whatever. And then they went to the pill form a while back. So she said she takes the pills out of the thing and puts it in Monday through Sunday.
And that's helpful to you.
Of
You
course.
trust her to do that. Have you ever had to pick up or refill her prescriptions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Would you agree that mother has been the primary parent to manage your daughter's health day to day?
No, ma'am.
You've been to 2 appointments, but and mom handles all the medications, but you wouldn't agree to that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you familiar with the early signs of a flare-up and the steps that need to be taken?
Yes, ma'am.
And has mom kept you informed of her medical needs and upcoming appointments?
She has.
Okay. Have you ever requested to attend an appointment or change an appointment such that you can attend on your day off?
When she first got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, it's hard for me to pronounce. I did attend a couple of those appointments because I was concerned about how we needed to move forward.
But since then, since they've been in Alabama, you've not asked her to move it to a Friday because you're off on a Friday or anything along those lines?
No,
Okay. Would you agree that given the seriousness of the condition, active participation or care is important?
of course.
Okay, and I just want to go briefly back to, when the mom was even pregnant with your daughter. Did you attend any of her OBGYN appointments?
I'm sorry.
Going back to in utero, mother was pregnant with the child. And
How is that relevant if it's pre-divorce?
Your Honor, just showing a pattern that he's not attended any of these appointments and that mom is,
We're dealing with what's happened since the prior order of sustaining objection.
okay. I want to move on to your marriage. After your daughter was born, mom stayed home with her full time. Is that correct?
Well, again, I'm not sure how it's relevant if it's prior to the divorce.
Your Honor, I just want to establish that mom was a stay-at-home mom during the marriage by agreement of the parties, which is relevant. It's never been litigated.
I'll allow that question.
Okay. So during your marriage, was the mom a stay-at-home mom and provided care for your daughter on the daily? Is
Yes,
that correct?
ma'am.
Okay. And she didn't work outside the home until y'all were separated. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that was a decision y'all made jointly. Is that correct?
For us to be separated, no.
Well, for her to be a stay-at-home mother to your daughter,
No, she decided that.
but you allowed it. You were able to support your family.
I've always supported my family, yes.
Okay. And mom during that time has always handled the daily care for your daughter, including feeding her, bathing her, diaper changes.
Absolutely not.
She,
Not by herself.
so when you would get off work because you said you worked 10 hours a day, you would help, but during those 10 hours, who was watching the baby or the child?
Of course she was.
Okay. If your daughter was sick, did mom handle that?
Not always. It was a joint thing.
So did you ever take off work to help with a sick child?
I have once, yes, ma'am.
You've taken off work once for,
Yes, ma'am.
would you say though that mom has provided consistent hands-on care for your daughter for her entire life?
I would say so.
And then I want to go on to your employment. So you are employed full-time and you currently work, you said, can you remind me of when you work?
The hours?
Yes, in the days.
So it'll be 6 to 4:30.
Do you ever have to leave earlier due to a job site being further away or anything along those lines?
In the mornings or in the evenings?
Do you ever have to leave earlier in the mornings?
Not really. Most of the work is here local in Nashville.
Okay. But you mentioned though that you've had to work on weekends before.
I have.
Okay. And that is still a possibility with your position?
Not right now. It's not. No, they're not doing
But
any overtime.
if your company decides to do overtime again, would you be scheduled for it or opt for it?
If I got selected,
In the past, you've been selected to do overtime. Is that
yeah, I
fair?
have. Yes, ma'am.
And taken that opportunity? Have you ever had to have a caregiver other than the mother watch the child while you were at work?
No, ma'am.
So if you had your daughter had an emergency during school hours and say she lived here with you, would you be able to just leave work to go handle that?
Absolutely.
And your company would be okay with that?
They are okay with that. I have spoken to them about that.
But they're not here today to testify to that.
No,
Okay. Would you say your job is very flexible during the day?
I guess it's as flexible as I need it to be.
I mean, do you have the ability to work from home for your position
I
if
don't.
needed?
No.
Yours is pretty hands-on. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
fair? Okay. And would you agree that you've missed some of your child's important events in the past due to work obligations?
Yes, ma'am. There's one that I can think about.
And was that the award ceremony?
No, ma'am. That
Different.
was her baptism where I had to work that weekend.
I do want to talk about that baptism. You and the mom reached out to you on June 23rd about that baptism. Is that correct?
I'm guessing. I'm not the best with records.
Let me ask, do you recognize?
And it looks familiar. Yes,
So
ma'am.
is that, you can hold on to, is that a fair and accurate representation of a conversation mom had with you, I guess, back in June of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to enter this. So mom reached out to you and said, hey there, the pastor reached out to me again, said we could do her baptism July the 14th. I could ask him about next Sunday, the 30th. Do you have a preference or should I choose? Did you respond to the mother?
Most of the time I respond prior to us, her telling me that they're moving. Most of the time I responded during the phone conversation because a lot of times things get misinterpreted through text messages. So I can't say that I responded through a text message because most of the time I would rather do it over the phone.
just about a simple scheduling, preference to see if you could make it work on your calendar, you would respond via the phone?
Yeah, whatever was applicable at the time.
Well, then she texted you the next day and said, the church just contacted me. They have Emma down for July the 14th at 10:30 a.m. to be baptized. I know Emma would love for you to be there, and she sent you the address. Did you respond to that?
I mean,
You
you
don't-
got the record, you tell me. I mean, if there's a text in there, I don't remember whether I did or I didn't.
Did you ask the mom to change the date of the baptism such that you could be there?
No, ma'am.
So you allowed it to go, and you didn't object to her being baptized,
No, ma'am.
and you allowed it to go forward?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you another text message because based on what, it doesn't appear that you've responded, but I'll show you a text message. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
And mom reached out to you and said, Pastor Brett has every person write their testimony before they are baptized. This is sweet little Emma's. I want to follow God because I want to go to heaven. I want to be his daughter. I want to read the Bible. Jesus has done all these wonderful things for me. I hear God's words in Bible class at VBS at church when Pastor Brett is preaching, and God's word made me want to get baptized. I want to be baptized because I want to be with Jesus. What did you respond to that?
Well, I have to work, obviously.
I have to work. So you didn't address that. Is that what you mean when you say mom's too chatty?
No. I knew this was coming from her mother. So I knew this wasn't going straight to Emma. And I wanted to be clear about like my availability that week. So,
Would you say this was an effort on mom's part to make you involved as much as you could be?
yes, ma'am.
And then she also said that I just thought it important for her treasure daddy to hear her heart on this important decision.
So, I'm sorry.
And she also said that, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think she tries to co-parent to you and co-parent with you and involve her as much as she can?
No, I wouldn't.
Are you asking these to be make separate exhibits?
I guess they could be a collective exhibit. I'm sorry, I don't know what exhibit number we're on.
I think this is part of that one.
You stated that you attend a lot of your daughter's school functions, or you implied that. Can you give us an exact number of how many functions you attended at the school this past school year that she was in Alexander City?
I think just one this past year or this past first grade.
Okay, and so it's not that you're there at the school every other week attending an event. Is that fair?
I wish it could be. Yes, ma'am.
If you were awarded primary custody, how would your current schedule allow you to meet all of your daughter's day-to-day needs?
I would be there with her. I would get her after school, get her at after school care during the week. And, I mean, it would be no different than what she was doing the last 2 years.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the mother worked at her school, and for some reason she chose to put her in after school care without my consent in the first grade, and then would leave school for a couple hours and come back and get her. Now, I don't know why she would leave because Emma never told me. She said, Mama won't tell me. But if you're working there, I don't see why you can't take your kid away.
Was that a
when you
special
leave.
program though? Do you know what the program did after school?
I have no idea. I wasn't informed of her going to any program in the first grade.
So you never received an email about the After the Bell program?
I received one before she started school in her kindergarten year, a year prior.
And she's been at after the bell. It's an extracurricular activity after school.
I just assumed, yes, ma'am, that her mother was putting like other kids on the bus and car riders and doing that thing.
Would you agree that, you know, extracurricular activities are a good thing for your daughter?
No, she doesn't need, it seemed to me the way she described them was, it was if you were struggling in certain areas, which my daughter wasn't. Or if she was, I wasn't made aware of.
Okay. Outside of work, you have hobbies, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree that hunting and fishing are important parts of your life?
Of course.
Okay, how often do you go hunting and fishing?
Uh, as often as I can do it, and that's something else I do with my daughter that she thoroughly enjoys.
So you take your daughter each time you go hunting and fishing?
Absolutely.
Is that something she you said that she enjoys that?
She really does.
What if when she's 9, showed no interest in it anymore? What would you do with her during that time period? Would you make her go hunting and fishing with you, or allow her to follow her own hobbies and interests?
I think a child's going to take interest in what you show interest in, and I wouldn't force that on her. If she wanted to read a book instead, I wouldn't discourage her from doing that. I'd have her make her own choices as far as her own interests. But as far as her being with me, she would be with me everywhere I went, just like she is now.
Were there any times that hunting and fishing have interfered with your parenting time or family time while you were married?
No, ma'am.
Would you be willing to adjust or reduce your hobby to prioritize parenting?
My little girl comes first, so yes, ma'am.
But have you ever actually had to do that?
I haven't needed to because she enjoys being with me.
And I just want to briefly touch on the email. You mentioned that mom left and sent you an email. In that email, did she discuss her concerns with pornography use?
Yes, ma'am, she has.
So it wasn't something that was a surprise to you that this was an issue in your marriage?
No, that's something that got brought into our marriage prior.
And was that something that you and her attended retreats to address?
It is. The year prior to our divorce, we went to Missouri to, I forget the name of the retreat, but it was a couples retreat to try and work on building a relationship back again. And not that money's of any value, but I did make a noble effort to make it work with her mother. I spent $12,000 for that 1 week to try and make it work. I have, and even they said at the place, it doesn't sound like you have an addiction.
But you knew this was something that your wife couldn't live with. Is that fair? And was impacting your marriage?
For the purpose that she's trying, whether or not the wife could deal with it or not, it's not relevant.
Sustain the objection. Let me play on it a little, hold on just a second. Let me take up, Aaron, Raylene, Aaron versus Benjamin, David, Aaron. You gone? Huh? We'll pass it again. Never mind. Go ahead.
Are you addressing it in any way currently, your pornography usage?
I don't see it as an issue doing it once every few months, so no, ma'am.
And just to confirm, you've never viewed that while your daughter is in your home?
No, ma'am.
What if she was in your home full time? How would that work?
Well, obviously I wouldn't do it while she was there.
And you have taken precautions to ensure that she doesn't ever stumble upon what you view?
Yes, ma'am.
I did want to talk a little bit about you mentioned that you have a big extended family. So could you remind me of who all lives within a short distance of your home?
I have my grandfather in Pleasant View. I have my Uncle Steve, my Aunt Jennifer in Pleasant View. I have my Uncle John and my Aunt Sharon in Pleasant View. I've got my cousin Morgan in Springfield. I've got my two cousins, Sarah and Wesley, in Pleasant View.
Have you
And-
ever had any of these family members assist you with childcare on a regular basis?
Not on a regular. I believe I had one watch Emma for a couple hours one evening.
So just one time do you feel comfortable reaching out to them for help?
Of course.
You just never had a need to?
I don't want to put that burden on anybody to watch my child when I want to have that time with her because I don't get it to begin with.
But your mother is also close by. Does your mother assist with your daughter?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Would you say that mom's family spends more time with your daughter than your side of the family?
It doesn't sound like it since they moved to Alberta because it's not. She's just told me a lot about how she missed her grandma and she don't get to see her.
But I guess historically, has they been more involved in your family?
Before she left and took her out of the state, my family spent more time with Emma. But after they left, her family spent more time with Emma.
And you were okay with that? That was part of your letting her relocate to Alabama.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you say that you are a good co-parent when it comes to communication?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, and I'm going to go through, has mom offered you on occasions to take Emma on Thursday after work as opposed to Friday at 6 p.m.?
So the Thursday thing, and I spoke to the mother about this last summer when Emma's not in school. Obviously, she's available whatever day. I got her on a many of Thursdays during the summer because I don't have to work those Fridays. So I wanted as much time as I could get. And then when she told me she was taking her away from me down the coast, I knew that one, like I need to make sure I'm abiding by what the court ordered, the Friday through Sunday thing. On top of that, it got used against me in mediation that I wasn't getting all my summertime because she didn't count the days because they weren't consecutive. But when I'd get Thursday this week and Thursday this week and Thursday this week, it wasn't counted.
But
So it
you
was-
agree that you were willing to take a Thursday last year, but not this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have there been occasions where mom has offered you more time and you just don't respond?
I've told her that we're going to stick to what the court ordered until this is over.
Do you recognize this text exchange from August 23rd?
Yes, I do recognize it.
So on Friday, August 23rd of this school year, or the last school year, mom said to you, next weekend, Emma will be out of school Monday. You are more than welcome to have her that Monday so you can have more time with her. Do you want to meet on that Monday, Labor Day? Did you respond to her?
No, ma'am. Prior to that, I had.
And then she asked again this upcoming week on that Monday after you didn't respond on Friday. She asked, this upcoming week, Emma will be out of school Monday. Do you want to have more time with Emma and meet on that Monday, Labor Day? Did you respond to that?
No, ma'am.
And then that Thursday on August 29th, she states, I guess I will take your silence as you not wanting that Monday with her. So we can just plan on meeting at our regular time on Sunday then.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that, I guess you think that's good. Is that good parenting to just let your silence mean
I
status
think
quo?
it's good parenting to ask a question, it's already been answered. When I,
A date, same day, you just can't see the response. You have. Would like to see the complete.
Keep your phone. Is in the car.
And I would just like to note that there is what appears to be some sort of, could have been from the mother, could have been from the father, but it's just incomplete. Not an incomplete, I mean, it's not a complete, document.
Okay. Now I want to show you the text message exchanges that started on November 24th of this school year, this past school year.
you wanna swap me?
Do you recognize these text messages?
Yes, ma'am.
So mom asked you, because I'm guessing this was around when not Easter, Thanksgiving. Hey, would you want to meet early Friday the 29th on Sunday, November 24th? Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
And she then asked you again a few days later on Wednesday, November 27th. Hey, would you want to meet early Friday the 29th?
Yes, ma'am.
And then on November 28th, she asked you, when do you want to meet tomorrow? Which was Thanksgiving Day. Is that correct?
What is, I guess that's the 25th. Is it?
Easter's on a Thursday, 28th. Sorry, I guess Thanksgiving's on a Thursday.
Okay, yes.
And then you just finally responded normal time. Was there a reason you couldn't respond and communicate with mom?
Feel like that's plenty of communication. That's me stating that I don't want to change what we were already doing. I don't know how clear you can get, and I'm not a chatty, texty person, and obviously she is, but
Okay. Now I want to show you a text exchange that occurred before Easter this year.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so mom sent you the Sunday prior to the Easter week. The next weekend that you have with with Emma is Easter weekend. Easter is my afforded holiday with her, so I will be meeting you at 6 p.m. Saturday night, like the parenting plan instructs. However, if you would like, I will switch weekends with you so you can have her a full weekend with her. What I mean by this is that I would have her Easter weekend and you could have her April 25th weekend and the next weekend that is back on our schedule, May 3rd weekend. I'll do whichever you prefer. She also stated, and this is the next page, also another option for you. She doesn't have school Friday that week, so we can meet Thursday after school, and then I would pick her, I'm assuming, but Saturday at 6, like the plan instructs. Please let me know which option you are interested in so I can plan accordingly. Then she sent you a picture on Monday, looks like. So you didn't respond to her that Sunday. And then on that Monday, you stated, we will stick to the same plan schedule for Easter weekend, picking her up on Friday at 6 p.m. Is your pickup time correct? And dropping her off for your holiday Saturday night.
Correct.
So even you were given different options for extra parenting time, but you didn't take that up. Is that fair?
I did not want to deviate from what the court ordered because it had already been used against me.
Used against you in mediation, which you do know mediation. We're really not supposed to talk about mediation.
You guys are the attorneys here. I don't know what I'm supposed to say and not supposed to say.
But I mean, so you didn't want that used against you, but you could have had extra time with your daughter, just like you had the summer prior. I mean, you deviated prior, correct?
I did.
Okay. And I mean, isn't that best for your daughter to take that time?
I didn't think I was gonna get in trouble for getting extra time from deviating from what the court ordered.
What do you mean get in trouble?
Well, I knew we were coming here. And so any little thing, obviously, that you guys can stack against me, I understand that's what's gonna happen. And I didn't want that to be one of the things because I don't know how it can be worked.
Did you ask your attorney, hey, is it acceptable for me to take extra parenting time during the course of this litigation that's been ongoing?
No, ma'am.
But you had the option. I mean, you could have asked your attorney about her advice on that.
Of course I could have.
So that was just your thought process,
Yes, ma'am.
not what your attorney told you. Okay. I then want to show you, I mean, would you, and it goes on and on, but she also offered for you to have her today even till the end of this because she had to travel back and forth to pick her up from Alabama for this. Is that correct? What's been the exchange the last few days?
I dropped her off on Sunday.
And then she went, so she offered you to have her till the end of this trial because she'd be here anyway. Is that fair?
Yes, but she knows that I work this week, so I can't.
And you didn't respond to her regarding that. Is that fair?
No, I've told her we're gonna stick to the schedule until all this is over with, repeatedly.
You can point to a text message of you stating that.
I'm sure if I kept records like she did, I'm sure I could point to a few. Yes, ma'am. But I'm not a spiteful person. I don't get dirt on people, and that's not my style. So that's just me. I'm sorry.
You think her just factually stating what y'all's conversations have been is getting dirt on you?
Yeah, dude.
Do you think mom would jump at an opportunity for more parenting time with her daughter? You think that's okay to agree to that?
In what sense?
I mean, you're asking to be primary. Do you think if the roles were reversed, mom would accept all the extra parenting time?
Sustained.
Mom has asked you before for your input on babysitters. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you respond to those messages about her options for babysitters?
Honestly, it's been a long time ago. I can't say whether I did or not. I'm sure you've got it there.
Do you recognize this text message?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this was mom reaching out, hey, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow and dad is unavailable to watch her. I wanted to know if you would be okay if I reached out to a lady who substitutes at our school, but also teaches Bible study or Bible class, apologies, at our church to watch Emma for that time. I asked because we are supposed to agree on who watches her according to the legal parenting documents. And then she clarified that she's just going to go back with me. I called them back and they will allow it. So does mom reach out to you when it comes to decision making?
She has in this case, yes.
I mean, generally, would you say, I know she's chatty, but would she say she's a good co-parent?
In some areas she is. I'm not gonna take that from her. In some areas she's not.
Okay. And then I did want to talk about your income. So you responded to interrogatories, is that correct?
Set the questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
discover.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, no. And so you stated that your income, your gross annual income was $111,000, $475. Is that correct? That was your gross income?
I think it was for that calendar year. the way I figured it.
And is your per hour rate still $59.41, or has that gone up?
That's the same. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So would you agree that you've seen mom's income from when she was a school teacher? Have you seen mom's
Prior
income?
to the divorce?
No, during discovery, when we sent you over our answers to the questions.
Yes, I believe it was on there.
So, would you agree that you make at least double what mom makes?
Absolutely not.
You don't agree that $111,000 is more than,
She makes roughly 5-6 grand a month and I make 7 something. How is that double?
we'll have to grab a calculator, but um, we'll round it to 112. That's about 10,000 a month. And if she makes 5, that's double. Would you agree to that?
No, I wouldn't. That is not double.
Okay. Sorry, you're making me do math. But there, you do make more than mom.
There's no argument in that.
Okay, so you would agree that, this litigation has probably been more difficult for mom to afford versus you.
Well, I imagine whatever they're keeping for the money side that they won't reveal. I'm not saying that it's harder on her than it is me because I can't speak on that, but they haven't give us the answers that we asked for.
What do you mean by that?
What her husband makes.
Oh, so you think she's relied on her husband to pay for attorney fees? Or that's your expectation?
They haven't given us the information, so I can't say.
Did you ever ask again for that information? It was
We
so
did.
important for you, but y'all never sent a deficiency letter.
I don't think you should have to ask twice.
Well, if it was very important to you, you could have certainly asked your counsel about that. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions. Thank you.
You may redirect.
You were asked if, did you just voluntarily agree to accept 85 days of parenting time with your child? You didn't want to go from being with your child every day to 85 days, did you?
No, ma'am.
You didn't leave the marital residence with your child, did you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Remain stable.
The mother left the marital residence with your child, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And ultimately, you and the mother came up with an agreement and you agreed that you would have 85 days of parenting time, but that's not what you wanted, was it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And the parenting that's proposed, you were asked, if you were going to get more parenting time under mother's proposed parenting plan. That parenting plan may be the same amount of time or a little bit more, but you go for a long period of time without seeing your daughter. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And right now you're seeing your daughter sometimes 3 weekends a month. Is that correct? If there's more than 4 weekends in a month, sometimes there's 5.
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
guess the way it falls.
And under the proposed parenting plan that Ms. Myers was referring to, often that would only have you having her 1 time per month. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it is different, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were asked about whether or not she was a stay-at-home mom and did she provide all the care and such. When you came home, when you came home from work, did you just sit in your recliner and watch TV and not help? Okay. What did you do when you came home from work?
Most of the time, if I come in and the house was a mess or whatever the case, I would tidy up a little bit,
Would you help
And-
with your daughter?
Of course, I would get cleaned up and then we'd get in their bedroom, get on the floor and play with, these little magnetile things or whatever it was she was playing with at the time. We'd go out, we'd run the dogs. I've got beagle hounds and, we enjoy getting out and running them and we'd play around, do that kind of thing until it was time to eat and kind of turn in.
Okay, would you help put her to bed sometimes?
Of course,
Help get her dressed sometimes?
of course,
Okay. Run errands with her sometimes?
of course.
Okay. And your extended family, they're all ready, willing, and able to help you. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you said that there was a time up until you started being cautious about the parenting plan that you'd often take extra time. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now, with your work, I mean, I'm assuming, I bet it's an accurate statement to say that you're pretty valuable to your work. Is that right?
I don't want to pat myself too much. I try to be humble, but
Are you good at what you do?
I am.
And I mean, you've been there eight years. Sometimes it's hard to get people to stay 8 days,
Yes, ma'am.
right? And so if you provide your work with enough notice, are they willing to be flexible with you?
I've already spoken to all my supervisors and they're on board with adjusting my schedule accordingly.
Is it more difficult if you just have a couple of days' notice in regards to flexibility?
I'm sorry.
Is it more difficult? For example, you were asked if you wanted to keep your daughter yesterday and then today. Well, today you're in court, right? Okay. And you were just asked a couple of days ago if you wanted to keep her yesterday. Do you need a little notice with work?
Not really. My boss and I kind of have I guess you'd call a verbal agreement, you know,
Okay.
that whatever I need to do.
So how much notice do you need to give work? If these times when mom asked you for extra time, did you need to give work a little bit of notice?
I did. At the time, I wasn't per se as valuable. And so I didn't have a standing like I do with the company.
Okay.
But I am standing better with them now to where I can ask of a lot more.
Okay. And the income, your income fluctuates, doesn't it?
It really does. Yes, ma'am.
Are there years when you have a good year?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there
There is.
years when it's a little not so good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you on track to make what you normally make this year, which is about $79,000?
Yes, ma'am. Right.
All right. And then I want to make sure, let's go through just a couple of these text messages. Number one, I think you testified that there might be a string of text messages where you haven't responded, but you've had phone communication with the mother.
Yes, ma'am. I do a lot of talking on the phone rather than texting because you can't.
And then do you communicate some at the pickup and the drop off?
I've tried. It's not very efficient.
Okay. And you were asked about the text messages about Easter, but I think they stopped where you said we'll stick to the same plan schedule for Easter. You would read after she said, okay. What did you say?
Tell her I'm proud of her for sticking with her reading. She is so talented and smart.
All right. And her is Emma.
As yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that another- That's all I have.
Any policy? Thank you, sir. You step in. Aaron Raylene Aaron versus Benjamin David Aaron. Sir, try to get this done. My understanding is that you all have talked. Both of you were placed under oath this morning. Now, Mr. Nairn, you had some objections and did not agree with the marital dissolution agreement. Is that still your position?
No, sir.
You want to agree to the terms of the marital dissolution agreement that's on file?
Yes, sir.
And so you wish to have me, sign off on this final decree that's been proposed and bears your signature, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, I'll grant your divorce. You can get a copy of it a little later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have another witness, Ms. Owens?
Short.
Let's go ahead and call her.
You ever heard any have Roberta? Roberta? Roberta. Is it?
You'll come up here, please, ma'am. We're gonna ask you to step up in the witness box, face our clerk, and raise your right hand to be placed under oath. Thank you. Be careful, that seat tends to bend over backwards. And this is a terrible room for acoustics, so speak as loudly as you can into that microphone. Okay? And thank you.
All right, Ms. Murdoch, if you would state your name.
Abigail Murdoch.
All right, Ms. Murdoch, you're in a relationship with Matthew Smith, is that right?
Yes, it is.
All right, and how long have you been in a relationship with him?
It's been over a year and a half.
Over a year and a half, okay. And,
Right now, I'm gonna have difficulty hearing
Okay.
what you're saying. I'm trying to get up closer to that microphone, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
all right, and how often do you see Matthew?
We see each other every week.
Every week? Okay. And you know Miss Emma Grace, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to see Emma Grace and her dad interact?
I have. It's pretty special every time I do.
And I'm sorry, say that again?
It's pretty special every time I do.
Pretty special when you see it. Tell the court about that. What do you witness as far as their interactions and just their connection?
Yes, ma'am. It might make me emotional because my daughter doesn't have her dad in her life. And it's pretty special to see somebody who cares so much and so deeply about their daughter as Matt does, Emma Grace. She's just as excited to see him as he is to see her every time they get together. And even when they're apart, you can tell that they are yearning for each other and for time together. It's really hard to see them say goodbye as well, because I can tell that from what Emma has said and from what Matt has shared with me, they wish that they could just be together all of the time. And you can tell when you see them interact. It's very true. A lot of the times I see them interact, it's not just playful. It is usually, but he teaches her so many things, not just things around the house, like with chores, things that are important for her to be a good citizen, which is something that is extremely important as a parent, to make sure that we're raising kids that are going to be a valuable citizen across the board in any area of their life. But he also teaches her about cooking and about, interacting with the dogs that they have, and about things that are special, like time with family and time with God, and that can look different for everybody. It's also really cute to see them play together, because he gets just as silly as I do. And I joke that I have done a lot of work to heal my inner child, but I can see his come out whenever he's with her, and how they play it's pretty adorable to see their imaginations run wild. And she pretty much has very similar passions to him. So
Very similar what?
passions
Passions.
as he does. So being outdoors is something that you can tell that she really enjoys. I think that it's really unique to see a kid's imagination run wild because of somebody that is fostering that for her. And he does a really great job doing that. They are outdoors, doing things that I know that he's ignited in me, like with fishing and hunting and hiking and things like that. I haven't seen them hike, but we've hiked. She does enjoy walking outside and playing, and she has toys that she'll play with outside too. And she loves reading so much, and they've read together, and she adores reading too, which is pretty cute.
All right. I was going to ask you, but I think you've just answered the question. Do you have any concerns about his parenting at all?
No, if someone could love someone too much, that would probably be the concern.
Oh, okay. And how's your relationship with Emma Grace?
It's pretty great. I have worked with children most of my life. I was in after school care when my daughter was really little. She's 15 now. So if that gives you an idea, working with kids is something that I'm good at anyway, but also I a passion to be around children and raising children as a mom. I think that's something that I was always led to do anyway in my own life. But having a relationship with someone else's child is very unique and new to me. We kind of hit it off. I think the fact that I am playful anyway helps. And I like a lot of the things that she likes. I adore reading as well and being creative because of reading too. We also have talked about being outside and playing outside together, things that she's interested in. And playing at playgrounds is something that she finds a lot of fun too. She also likes the water, which is something that I absolutely love. So seeing her near water with her dad has been something that's, I guess, tugs at my heart.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. I'm going to pass you as the witness for opposing counsel. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Immigrate interact with her mother?
I have.
Okay, has that caused you any concern?
It's, I don't know, concern wise, it didn't seem that she was as eager to see her as I've seen her with her dad.
But you would say that this is a well-adjusted child, which is a credit to both parents.
What do you mean by well adjusted?
I mean, you have no concerns. The child's behavior, is she a well-behaved child, well-adjusted?
She is.
And you would say usually that's a credit to both parents.
I would.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. That's your last witness. I assume you're gonna put on some proof.
Sure.
All right, let's go ahead and take a short recess. Let's stand a recess for 15 minutes.
All right. Will be 15 recess.
All right, if you want to call your witness. You stand up, please, and raise your right hand. Be placed under oath.
We'll start with some background. Please state your name and current address for the record.
Elizabeth Smith, and the place where we're staying at is 23481 Swift Road, Alberta.
Okay, and just for the record, and I'd probably speak up a little bit.
Okay.
I'll help the judge out with that. What is your relationship to the child involved in this matter?
I'm the mom.
Okay, and how old is your daughter and what grade is she in?
She's 7 years old and she's about to go into second grade.
Okay, and who currently has more days with your daughter?
Me.
Okay, and can you kind of, and I know we've touched on it through the father's testimony, but kind of describe what the current parenting schedule has been?
It's just been every other weekend, alternating, holidays, and he's afforded 2 weeks in the summer.
Okay. And just to give a little background to the court, when did you and the petitioner, the father, get married?
We got married in February 2015,
Okay. And then how long were y'all married for?
7, 8 years.
Okay. And do you remember when the divorce was finalized?
23. I'm not sure. I think it's May 20.
Yes, you're correct. Okay. And are you currently married?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you remarry?
I got married in November
Of which year?
2025.
November of 2025.
Yeah.
What is your spouse's name and what is his occupation?
His name's Michael Priest, and he is a wrestling coach. He's a pastor, a full-time pastor, or he doesn't get paid full-time pastor, but he's a full-time pastor. Like he's not an associate pastor is what I'm saying. Like he's the one who preaches every Sunday.
Push that microphone a little
At 6 p.m.
up and just try to project a little bit more. See that guy back there that looks like he can't hear you?
Okay.
Try to talk loudly enough for him to be able to hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, did you say all that he does for work?
So he's a pastor, he's a coach, and he's a teacher, right? He's a teacher.
Okay.
Yes.
What grade does he teach?
He teaches high school students.
Okay. And what subject?
He actually teaches it's the kids who they get expelled. So it's and so like that's just another ministry that he has, like the kids who get expelled from their schools. Anyways, that's so he I think his technical subject is history maybe. But he's
An alternative school.
yes, it's not. Thank you. I couldn't find that word in my brain.
And what kind of coach is he?
He's a wrestling coach.
Okay. So big passion of his.
Yes.
And where does he currently reside?
He lives at 23481 Swift Road, Alberta.
Okay. And so if y'all were married in November of 2025, have y'all been doing long
Got
distance?
married 3 months from now, 4 months from now.
In November, yes, sir.
Well, you got married in November of 2025. That's 4 months from now.
Oh, sorry, 2024. Thank you.
Thought it was maybe an anticipatory.
No, it's 2024.
Oh my. Sorry, I didn't even pick up on that. Sorry about that. November 2024.
Yeah.
So y'all were married in November 2024, but did y'all live long distance during your marriage at
Yeah.
points? Okay. Why did y'all do that?
Well, we just thought, first I wanted Emma to be able to finish her first grade year, so that was important to me. And then another reason was we just thought it would be helpful for her to have time with our family and then to go back to just regular life of just me and her. And then it's just a gradual process. And then it was also just out of respect for, trying to, seek out and trying to come to an agreement, with her father.
Okay. Does your spouse have children from previous relationships?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about those children?
Sure. So the two oldest, they have chosen he has two daughters that are the oldest, and they have chosen to live with him full time. And they both wrestle with him, they're in the wrestling. So anyways, and then he has a 3-year-old, and we have her 50% of the time. He
Okay.
has 50-50 custody.
And so all daughters, he doesn't have a son.
Right, correct.
Okay. And so these children reside in the home with you and your spouse when you are in Baldwin County?
Yes.
Okay. And so, how many people live in that household when y'all are all together?
When we're all together, it's 6.
Okay. Is the home big enough for that?
There's a room for every girl. And obviously we have our own room, and then all the girls share 2 bathrooms. So it's a really nice house.
And are y'all planning to stay in that home or are y'all working on?
We are working on a house that's just in Fairhope. So it's actually closer. I mean, it's not that much closer to where her dad lives, but it's still, like, I looked up the mileage, right? So we're just working on that right now, and I'm not sure when it will.
Same county though.
Yeah, and he's gonna be, like, it would not upset or disrupt her schooling because since he works in the district, like, she would still go, like, the school, that she'll be attending if we are awarded our parenting plan, it's literally right beside his school, so.
And she won't be disrupted from moving from Alberta to Fairhope.
Right, exactly.
Could you describe Fairhope generally for us? Is it a safe place?
Yeah, it's a really nice place.
Okay. I asked because Dad said it had a bad crime rate. I'm very familiar. Is that true to your knowledge that there's a lot of crime in Fairhope,
I mean,
Alabama?
I'm not familiar with crime rates, so.
But you've
I
not
can't-
had concerns.
No, no.
Okay. I do want to talk a little bit about the steps you took. You know, you mentioned that you took a slow transition, but let's just talk generally. When did you first introduce your now husband to Emma?
So she was like so we waited a while before, like, obviously any of our kids knew that the other person existed. And then, we like introduced with phone calls. And to be honest, I can't remember when it was, a few months after, I guess, when we knew that it was serious and it was, significant. And then she didn't get to meet him until, let me make sure I tell you the right time. Oh golly, I can't remember. Was it October? I think it was October. No, it was September. I can't remember. It was either October or September.
What steps did you take to ensure that this introduction was gradual and comfortable for Emma? You kind of touched on that,
Yeah, I feel like I've touched on that. And then we just like met at a park the first time, just kind of tried to make it all about what I knew she would like, what she wanted to do. And so, yeah.
Has your daughter developed a relationship of some kind with your husband?
Yeah.
And could you kind of describe that to the court?
I mean, just they play together, like, he cooks food for her, there's been times that she's had like Bible questions and, he's answered those questions. Like there's times that we like all watch a movie together and she sits beside him and in between us. And I don't know, like she's
comfortable with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
How is her relationship with her now stepsisters?
I think she has this relationship with her stepsisters as most girls do, like the older ones, she thinks that they're awesome, but she doesn't, like, they don't spend as much time with her,
Sure.
because they're teenagers. The one that she's developed a really close relationship with is the youngest, and they spend every second that they can together.
Has her father ever raised any concerns to you about, besides today, about your husband or his family and the remarriage?
No,
Has he ever asked about it?
I mean, we just had the initial talk when I first told him that I was going to be getting married, and he never asked any questions after that.
But you would welcome introducing your husband
I
to.
love that, actually, for Emma's sake.
Would you say that the blending with your spouse's children has been successful?
I think so.
Okay. Have there been any behavioral or emotional challenges for Emma with this life change for her?
I mean, she's operated as an only child, so it's been hard, like at the beginning, to learn about sharing and really like having to do that. So that was, I would say, the first week or so, like we talked a lot about that for both of the girls, not just Emma, but both. And that's gotten significantly better. Something else was where the other child is on the end of the spectrum of extrovert. Emma is somewhere closer to, at some point she needs alone time, right? She enjoys people, but like eventually, and especially with her little sister, she just, at some point she needs, and so we've had to talk about, like, because you need space, it doesn't make you a bad person. We've told her to use her words, and sometimes the 3-year-old will not listen. And so now me and Michael have just told her, like, listen, if she doesn't listen, then you're allowed to lock your door. But if an adult or a big sister knocks on the door, then you have to So then she knows that she's free to like go and just like have time to just for herself. And so those are probably the two biggest things I would say.
So you and your spouse have worked together on making this
Absolutely.
successful. Would you say that this new family structure has provided more support, stability, and resources for your daughter?
I would say so, just because, you know, something that, I mean, the past 2 years that she's been praying about like herself is she's just wanted a friend. And there's just been, I mean, even in her kindergarten class and her first grade class, she never was able to like really make those connections, you know, with kids. Like she would have, there would be a few people that she would play with, but like she wanted, you know, that best friend. And now she just has somebody to play with all the time. And, but also just, uh, I mean, she sees me like happy, and I think there's value there. And, I don't know, I definitely think so.
Yeah. Have you seen any negative impact on her from this?
Um, I mean, one of the reasons why I offer extra time is because she does say, you know, that she wants to see her daddy. She loves time with her daddy. I mean, she really does. And so, she's mentioned that. And so that's why, you know, I offer the extra time, because that's one thing that has been said.
And in what ways has your remarriage enhanced your ability to care for your daughter?
I mean, we act as a team. So like all of the responsibilities of raising up kids and growing character, and it's a two-person job now. And I just feel like she gets a better version of me because I have help and support.
Oh. And your husband's not here today, but can you tell the court why he couldn't be here?
He's watching his girls.
He's got his own children.
Yeah.
I do want to, one thing they've brought up is that, so now you're moving further away from maternal grandparents. Is that correct?
Right.
How far will your home be from where you lived in Alexander City?
It's actually closer now than it was when we were in Tennessee, and they had a very strong connection and bond when we lived in Tennessee.
And so it's about 200 miles.
Right.
Okay. What family or support do you have nearby when you're going to live in Baldwin County, Alberta, and Fairhope?
I mean, the church is like a very big community that we have. And I say big community, it's a really small church, but it's still like it behaves like a family, right? And so we have people that, I mean, obviously, like I would have to get approval, like for him to be okay with someone watching, but I definitely feel like supported there. And Emma's already made friends there. And did that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
Will your parents still be within a reasonable distance to provide support?
Oh, yes. My mom and Emma are incredibly close. When we lived in Tennessee, like she came to many OBGYN appointments. She was there constantly, and she's already talking about how, like this summer, every time she's seen her dad, she's seen them. And that's like I've talked with my mom, they're planning to retire like in the next year. But before they retire, she said that at least once a month they're planning on coming down there.
So you think you'll still have regular time with your parents and her
It's
grandparents?
guaranteed. Like,
Okay.
they are inseparable.
So do you think her access to your family will decrease because of this 200-mile move?
I mean, before my parents were caretaking, so like we got to see them probably like once a week, for like maybe 3 hours. And now, it'll be like, you know, once a month for an extended weekend. So I definitely think it's either the same, but it'll be even, it's a longer amount of time, like, you know, more focused time, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to move on to your daughter's medical needs, and I know we touched on it with Dad, but your daughter has ulcerative colitis, correct?
Correct.
When was she diagnosed with that?
She was diagnosed October. I think it was 2022 because it was the year before. I don't want to put a date on that. Like, I think it was the year.
Time frame is fine.
It was the year before, like, we were separated.
Okay. Can you just briefly explain your understanding of ulcerative colitis and how it affects your daughter?
I mean, it's definitely been a mystery in that, like, we're trying to figure it out, right? Like, there's just so much that's happening inside that you can't see. It's my understanding that it's an autoimmune disease. So, and it's ulcers that line the inside of her intestines, which can make, when she's in a flare up, and it's something that she'll have like her whole life. So she's either in a flare up or she's in remission. And she can be triggered by different things, and we are still trying to figure out what those things are.
What happens if she has the flare up?
The first is just pain, in her stomach. And obviously blood in her stool, urgency, like she has to go. And then if she's in a full-on flare, then she has accidents, like she can't make it in time.
So have you been managing her symptoms on a day-to-day basis while in your care? Who's responsible for scheduling and attending her medical appointments?
Me.
And what kind of medical appointments does this require?
Well, thankfully, she's been in remission. There's been like a little hints of flares, but the doctor's given us like some extra medication to do. Anyways, and I haven't had to do that in a while, but can you repeat the question?
Yes. I was just asking, what kind of medical appointments does this?
So because, thank you, because she's been in remission, we've just like had a follow-up, just basically to check in. So like that happened in like, I think June 1st, or it was like the first week of June. And they just take blood work. They like have to get a stool sample, or I have to get a stool sample. And they just check her out and do all that.
What's the frequency of these follow-ups with her doctor?
It's just twice a year unless she's not in remission. If she's in a flare-up, it's much more, but I would say like the frequency of appointments is more for her sickness, right? Because it's an autoimmune disease. So she just, because of elementary school, she's sick, I feel like more so than average kiddos. And where like, I just feel like hers is an extended, like, for example, she had rotavirus. I think it was in kindergarten. Yes. And like, she had like, I guess for most kids, like it's vomiting and diarrhea. Well, that's her problem area. So like we ended up having to go to the emergency room because she was just having so many trouble. And it was like a 4 to 5 day thing where she was out of school. So.
Wow, it's a long time. And then, so it requires medications. Do you administer those to her?
Yes.
And do you assist dad with getting what she needs medication wise?
Yes.
And are there any specific dietary restrictions or meal planning requirements?
I mean, the only food that they've told us that we cannot give her is corn, because all of us know it's not digested. So it's very hard on the stomach. And another food that me and Emma have just figured out is apples. She can have applesauce, but just an apple with peel, like, I don't know what it is like typically. And so I just have stopped giving her those like a while ago, but it's just basically figuring things out, right? Like it's because you just don't know what's going on inside. Trial and error.
How has managing her condition kind of played into your parenting responsibilities?
I mean, we talk about poop a lot. That's one thing. And I don't know, like, she also has a peanut allergy. So like, that's something that I don't know, like, I'm just thinking about, and also it's very backwards, because you, as normal people, you think, oh, they need fruits and vegetables, and when she's in a flare up, it's like the exact opposite. It's like bland foods and basically no fiber, because obviously fiber is hard to digest. So, it's just, I can be weird about food, like I know that, he spoke about the hot dogs, which I was getting organic hot dogs. She loves hot dogs. We don't give it every time,
What's
but
an organic hot dog? I didn't know. There was such a thing.
well, you can get it at Publix, so. But,
Is it meat or is it veggies?
oh, no, an organic hot dog is just, it's meat, but it's organic. I don't know.
Nobody knows what that is.
But anyways, what I was gonna say is just that, you know, we had had hot dogs before and there were no symptoms, like there were no flare-ups. So when I find a food that she likes and it's like, okay, I know this is safe for your situation, sometimes I stick with it, but we don't do hot dogs every meal. But that is one of her favorites.
And it's safe, yeah.
It is safe, right?
Well, do you think your home environment supports her medical needs?
Absolutely.
And how important is continuing this care for your daughter?
I think it's really important. I mean, I'm so thankful that she's been in remission, the past few times that she's not, like when she had that stomach virus in kindergarten. It's just very scary because you can see a boo-boo on the outside, right? Like there's so many things that kids have that's on the outside, so much hers is on the inside you can't see. And as a parent, I mean, I know when we initially learned, like that was frustrating for both of us. Like we just had so many questions and the doctors are like, every person's different. Like every person has different things that cause a flare up. So
Are you going to get her a doctor when you move?
I've thought about that. We just have a relationship with Dr. Jester, and I mean, she's established there, and I've just thought maybe we should just keep her there.
So you'd be willing to transport her to Alexander City to meet with her doctor?
Not her, well, actually her doctor is because there's not another children's hospital, right? There's not another children's hospital down in that area. I think there's one that someone's told me about that's in Pensacola. I just haven't like done the research, right? I would be willing to go to that one. It's just that Dr. Jester's, but she's in Birmingham, the children's.
Okay, so you've already had to travel to get her to
Oh, yeah.
that particular physician, and you're willing.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that it's in your daughter's best interest as it relates to her ulcerative colitis to remain in your care, in your primary care?
I do.
And why?
Um, I think both, I mean, obviously both of us care deeply about her, but I've had more time, to watch what's going on. I mean, I'm very like nurturing, like I think most moms are. So like, when I notice that she's not feeling well, like, I mean, it's just, I don't know, like it's easy. Like it's just a knee-jerk reaction, right? To nurture, to caretake, um, and I think that, with her having this condition at such a young age, like I think I've done a good job at keeping her in remission the times that she's had sickness due to being in an elementary school. I think I've done a good job at being able to give her the care that she needs and help her in that way.
I do want to talk a little bit about when you were married. What was Dad's involvement with caring for your daughter on a daily basis?
I mean, it's like you said, he's always provided, financially. And when he would come home, I mean, he would, play with her and, and then, some Saturday mornings he would like make breakfast for her. Like that was a meal that he enjoyed making for her.
But let me ask, who handled, feeding, bathing, bedtime, medical needs during y'all's marriage?
It was me for the most part.
And you were a stay-at-home mom
Yes.
doing all that? Dad mentioned he did stay home. Did he ever have to stay home from work while you were a stay-at-home mom to care for your daughter when she was sick?
I don't remember that because I was a stay-at-home mom. I don't really understand why he would have had to do that. So in my memory, I do not remember him ever taking off work to.
Was he involved with going to doctor's appointments?
No. There was one time when she initially had ulcerative colitis that we did like do a phone, like where I had the phone and like he talked with the doctor that way. And so he was still at work, but he still,
Participate?
yeah.
Has he asked to attend doctor's appointments in Birmingham or?
No, but I mean, I've tried to tell him when they're coming up, but
He's just not. He trusts you to handle that. I do want to talk about his work schedule when y'all were married. So what job did the dad have while y'all were married?
in the later part of our marriage, he had that one, the one that he spoke about.
What is that?
The
Sorry.
elevator.
Elevator, okay.
Yes.
Mechanic, correct? Repairman?
Elevator installation, I don't know.
Okay, so, and that's a full-time job?
Yes.
Did it require him to be away from home for long periods?
Yeah, he would sometimes have to be like, it wasn't consistently, but like sometimes he'd have to be away for a weekend. And then there were times where they would take him out of a town for like a week.
Did he ever have to leave before 6 a.m.?
Yeah, he was always gone like way earlier than 6.
I guess just generally describe what his work schedule was.
I mean, if I remember correctly, he was either leaving at 4.
It's just not relevant to what it was during the marriage.
And this is predating the divorce, correct?
It was.
Sustain the objection.
Okay. But to your knowledge, he's still working the same job?
Oh, he's working the same job. Yes, to my knowledge.
And when y'all were married, he has Fridays off? You've heard that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Has he ever asked during the last year to have her earlier than 6 p.m. on a Friday?
Maybe. I don't want to say yes or no because I can't like fully remember, right? But it's a possibility.
Well, we went through those texts he never responded to.
Right. Those texts, but like there's been times where he's like, I'll let you know, or I would say consistently, not normally, but I just don't want to say no because
There may be a time that
right.
you're misremembering. Do you have concerns about what he testified to about his job? Do you have concerns about his ability to be a primary parent, single parent to your daughter if he has this job?
I mean, what he said, he made it sound like they're very flexible and very willing. I did prior to today, but if he's telling the truth about how flexible, I mean, just it sounds like he could possibly be able to, watch her but I don't know if I don't know.
You don't know. You
Yeah,
don't know. It's based on what's not current, I
Right.
guess. What are your thoughts on your daughter being in after school care?
I mean, I don't see a problem with
You had her in a after school program. Could you explain that to the court, what that looked like?
I did, and it was a STEM program, right? Which means
What does that mean?
science, technology, mathematics, and it was not for kids who are behind. It was an extracurricular. They were doing like projects, STEM projects, and just to clarify, like on the days, like there were some days that I stayed late because I had teaching, like I was planning for the next day. And I thought it would be more enjoyable for Emma to be doing that than just sitting in the classroom with me. There were times when I went to dentist appointments or other appointments that I thought she would much rather be with kids her age on a playground or doing STEM activities. Um, so, but, so I didn't have a problem with it, and I put it in the, thing that, you know, I let him know. I sent him like the reminder.
He said that you sent it to him
Right,
before
so-
school started.
Right, so, but anyways, so if he, like, I don't have a problem with an after-school program. It
But
seemed like he did, but.
you think it was a beneficial program for your daughter, not
I mean,
because you didn't want a parent?
well, and I knew all of the, like literally the teacher that was teaching it was someone that was in my teaching team. Like, so she knew about the peanut allergy. She, like, there would be times if Emma's tummy was ever hurting, it might have just been because she needed to poop. Like, I still got a response, you know, like I still was updated about that. So I thought it was great.
And then did dad ever, when he expressed concerns, did you agree to not make her or not have her go anymore?
Yeah. When he expressed concerns, like I took her out of the program.
And is your plan to have her in any before or after school care for the upcoming school year?
You know,
And you're planning to enroll her in public school?
Yep.
At Fairhope,
if that's what's agreed
if
to.
that's what
Yeah.
your intention is. Not homeschool.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I did want to talk a little bit about, do you have concerns related to dad's hobbies of hunting, fishing, and the like, trapping?
I do, just because, you know, Emma's told me a few times that she's like, I'm bored when I'm there, you know, like, and so I worry that like, just because he's so passionate about it, like he's just gonna like be like, this is what we're doing, you know. I do see the value in like them spending time together. Like I see what he's getting at, but it won't, it feels less like sometimes it sounds a little bit more like an obsession. So it's just way more frequent. And so I am concerned about just how often that might be.
Do you have concerns that he'll prioritize his interest over hers the older she gets? And
I mean, I think that that's happened already just with the movies that they watch, like the music that they listen to, the things that they do. Like, it's a lot of it is not kid appropriate. It's, I mean, even by the world standards, it's not, you know, PG-13 movies. And then, you know, she was allowed to watch Last of the Mohicans, which is rated R. Like, that's by the world standards, that's not appropriate for. And so I just think a lot of times, it's just like, this is what I want to do. So you're here. So that's what we're going to do. That's what it seems like to me anyways.
is that how you interact with your daughter?
I mean, like anytime our children are awake, like everything is like totally goes around them, their needs. Like, I mean, obviously we're not like hyper focused, but like if we want to watch something and they come in the room, or if we want to watch something and they're awake, like we'll wait till they're asleep, you know, like,
What kind of interest does your daughter have?
well, her imagination is crazy. She's playing dress up constantly. She's always just in garb of some sort. She's loves reading. She's very talented at it. She loves music. She likes dancing. She likes anything that's like prissy, you know, like princess, and I don't know. She's just very animated. I could see her being in theater one day just because of how like I don't know, theatrical she is, and I don't know. And she loves going to church. That's something that she talks about. Just like if we ever miss it, she's really upset about that. But she's light. She's loved. Like she's just a little piece of light wherever she goes.
Yeah, it sounds like both you and dad have kind of, um, done a great job. So you plan to support her and her interests
Yeah,
as they
absolutely.
develop?
Absolutely.
Now I do want to turn a little bit about your concerns with the pornography usage. Did his usage of that ever concern you in the context of parenting and, you know, what your daughter could be exposed to?
Sure.
Can you kind of explain what you mean when you say yes to that?
I mean, I guess when I lived there, I wasn't as concerned because I was always there, right? Um, but not being there and knowing that he has this addiction, and I know that because it's his words, not mine. That happened in our counseling session, our premarital counseling. He disclosed that to me. So I'm not using that word out of my own vocabulary. I'm using it because he named it that. But it was something that was riddled all throughout our marriage. And there was only one time that I actually found it out. Other times I asked him point blank, have you been looking at it again? And he would typically disclose either yes or like, when you ask me about it, well, then that's when I think about it. So don't ask me about it. So like, it was something that was ongoing. It was something that I got counseling for. So am I worried about how it's going to affect Emma? Like right now, my fear is that we're on best behavior. If we had, if he had complete custody of her, and what happens when he's stressed out? What happens when he's getting, I just have fears. I just have fears about what that's going to look like for her and what she could possibly be exposed to. I think the visual whatever that word is, but I think that's already happened with just what he allows her to watch. And he doesn't think about how, like, she's 7, like she has this innocence, and yes, the world is going to, try to take that from her, but as her parents, like, let's protect that, let's do our job there. And I do worry about that.
And I do want to talk about the support systems that he's brought up. So you're familiar with his family that lives nearby. Have they, to your knowledge, ever helped care for your daughter?
I do think like, I think he disclosed in the questionnaire like that, our cousin Morgan did once. So I wasn't asked about it, but I mean, I feel comfortable with Morgan.
Sure. Have you observed that he has consistent family support?
I think like his aunt and uncle, like they're great people, and I think they would consistently support him, but he doesn't typically allow, like he's just self-sufficient, right? So I don't know because that's who I asked if they could watch her while we were, doing court and whatnot. And he said that they work. So that wasn't.
So he didn't ask, or he just answered for them?
I'm not sure about that.
You're comfortable asking your family for help.
Yeah.
See, and you would say he's not as comfortable asking them for.
I mean, I can't answer that. So.
Okay. Do you think you have a better support system in your life by comparison?
I mean, I've asked my mom, like, if I ever need you, like, will you be able to come down here? And she's like willing to take off work and come down there. So even if I did need her to come down, like.
And you think that's benefited your daughter?
Absolutely.
And the history is there that your mom and your dad have been supportive?
Absolutely.
Okay. I do want to now move on to your proposed parenting plan, and that was filed, Your Honor, with the court on July 8th. It should be in.
I've looked at it.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm gonna give you a copy of.
Okay.
And I just want to so this is something you've put some thought into. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Can you kind of describe generally what your proposal is?
So my proposal is that he would get, and it's listed here. So what we did is we went through and we looked at the school calendar, right? So like every month we looked at like what would be a long weekend. That way they could have like a longer amount of time together. And it's basically just, I mean, do I need to go through every month?
No, just
And
generally.
then of course, like he would be also in those months, he would also be afforded another week where he could come down, and then Emma wouldn't have to travel, but he would be afforded another weekend.
Why is that important to you that one weekend she goes up, generally one weekend or, spring break may
Right.
be in place of the one weekend, but why is that important to you that he traveled to Alabama some to visit her?
I just think it takes like, that ball out of her court of having to travel and, just, I don't know, like, and the times that he has, they've had a great time at the beach.
Has he traveled down?
He has.
Can you tell the court a little bit about that?
He traveled he spent a week there for his summer vacation. And I mean, to my knowledge, they had a really good time at the beach. And then there was another week, maybe it was spring break. It was one of the breaks during school that he,
Opted to be in Alabama
I think, if I'm remembering.
by choice to be
Yes.
in Alabama. Okay. Does he have a dad that lives in Pensacola?
The way I understood it was that he was visiting for a long amount of time, but like he's going to be leaving soon is what I understood.
But he has that option. I guess dad has an RV, something down there.
Maybe.
Okay. And so what your thoughts on, your daughter traveling by plane each and every time?
The more that I think about it, the more, it's not something that, like, financially, it feels like a luxury for my family. So I don't think that we can afford it. However, I'm not as close to it as I was, just because I sat Emma down and I talked with her about it. She seemed really worried at first, but then, and I told her, you'll be able to get in the cockpit with, the pilot, because that's what the mediator told us. I don't know if that's correct. But I mean, and I was like, you'll travel with someone, and she just was really emotional. When she went to dad's, she came back and she was like, I want to fly. Like, so she did verbalize that she was interested in that. But financially, like, that feels like a luxury for me. So I've just proposed that I could still drive all the way to Priceville, even though it's not in the middle for us. I've proposed that. And another concern that I have is that, like, if we have tickets, like typically a plane ticket, you have to get in advance. Like, so much of what goes on in her little stomach, you can't see. And her GI specialist has said if she is in a flare-up, she is not to travel. So, I mean, through, a plane. So it's just hard to know, like, and then let's just say that she gets there on the plane and it's fine, but then, like, over the weekend, she starts to develop symptoms. Like, it's just, I don't know, it just feels, so those are just my concerns.
But if the court ordered that she has to fly, you would honor that.
Yeah, of course I would.
But your preference, I guess, would be that y'all drive, or at least you're allowed to drive one way and he could maybe send her back the other way or vice versa.
Yeah.
I did want to go through the holiday schedule. Is there any consideration for why these are even odd as they are, or day to day, or every for father? As it relates to
So,
the other
like,
children in your
the
home?
Martin Luther, oh yes, like, so we've tried to make sure that all of our weekends match up with the youngest one, the one that she's just like bonded so well with. So we've tried to, like, make sure that the times that she would be, spending those holidays with us, that she would also be able to be with her younger sister.
Sure. And when you looked at this, did you take into consideration the duration between each visit to make sure it's pretty evenly spaced?
Yes.
And do y'all currently, does dad get fall vacation every year currently?
I would have to I look at the parenting plan like probably once a month. I would say, I can't tell you. It's,
But you're willing to give him spring break every year.
yeah, absolutely.
You've had spring break since, you've had a spring break since the parenting plan. And then Christmas, you want that split based on how many, just in the middle? Is
Yeah.
that fair? And then you want to give him summer vacation month of June?
Right.
And then on some years, he'd also get through the July 5th, through July 5th, such that he could enjoy the 4th of July. Is that fair?
Right, yep.
Why do you think that summer vacation schedule is in the best interest of Emma?
The longest she's ever been away from me has been probably like 10-ish days because, like this last time I know that he like had her from Friday to Sunday. Like she's never been away for like 2 weeks, to my memory. And so the idea of like 4 weeks without seeing her, knowing the lack of communication, and I always tell her, if you don't want to call mama, you focus on daddy. Like you focus on daddy. Like, but if you do, you call me. And like, I worry because I've done so much to facilitate a relationship and to support a relationship between her and her daddy. She loves him, and I know that he loves her. And so I've done everything that I can. I have sent pictures, I've sent letters, we have pictures up of him in her bedroom, like in our house, like he is not spoken negatively about, like she knows she can come back and just be like, I had the best time at daddy's. She can talk about that at our house. Like it's a safe place and it's welcomed. And I've done that, but that same respect that I've given, it has not been extended back to me. And that has been very frustrating because I am trying, ever since we started this whole process, my vision has been at her wedding with me and him in the same room. She's not going to be panicking about the fact that her daddy and her mom are in the same room. She's going to just be able to enjoy her day. And that can be said about any special day she has, And so that's what I've been trying to build ever since here. And that's been very hard for me. And so the idea of being away from her for 4 weeks it's very hard for me. But I know that I don't want to take time away. That's not what the goal is. But I'm concerned about 4 weeks away.
Has he historically taken advantage of the
No.
long times in the summer?
No,
the 2
every
weeks?
every summer we've had, he was correct in saying that there was last summer, he did take Fridays, right? But they didn't add up to a full week. That's all we said at mediation. They did not add up to a full week. So he did not have this full 2 weeks of summer vacation. The summer before that, he had 1 week of summer vacation with her. And this summer he has taken a full 10 days. And when we talked previously, he had planned on taking another week. So
Did he have childcare during that, or was it just him doing the child?
it was just him.
So he's never scheduled childcare for her in Tennessee, to your knowledge?
I mean, he didn't okay it with me if he did. So I would say no.
Okay. And then you want to keep joint decision-making. We're asking the court to impute you at an income of minimum wage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell the court a little bit about your work history and why we're asking for that?
So like previously, like ever since Emma's been born,
Yes.
I was a stay-at-home mom. I did 1-year-old curriculum with her. I did when that was ABC Jesus Loves Me, and then we moved into a Becca, and that was K4 program. And so when we got separated, when he filed for divorce, I put her into a school because I knew I needed to work, but it wasn't what I wanted. Like I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So now we're going to go back to being a stay-at-home mom. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
I just asked why we're in, and we can go into that, but the imputing you at federal minimum wage, why we're asking for that. And just, yes, so you're gonna, I guess, let me ask you this. So you've decided with your husband now to return to that role of stay-at-home mom. How will that benefit Emma, particularly given her age and her medical needs?
I mean, like, obviously all of the appointments, you know, the sicknesses, and I mean, the field, like, as one of the reasons why it's so important to me is that I wanted to be there for every field trip. I wanted to be there for, you know, I wanted to be a room mom for the school so that I could be a presence for her. I've seen parents at school like have lunch with their kids. Like I wanted to do that. And I just couldn't do that when I was working. And so I just want to be a presence for her. I want her to know that she's supported. And then of course, the ability to take her to appointments and it not to be like, oh gosh, can you watch Emma while I go lesson plan? You know, she's sick, you know, because I had to do that with my mom. Whenever she would get sick, I would have to leave and go do lesson plans. And so it would just be, and, you know, when all of this began, that's why I actually started thinking about becoming a stay-at-home mom again, is because I was doing everything that I could to keep us out of court, because I feel like that just helps with our co-parenting if we can work through things. And so that's why I said in the letter, you know, that we can still meet here. Nothing has to change. Like I literally told, like I'd called the school, like my husband had gone to the elementary school and he had said, hey, like this parenting plan, it would cause her to leave, you know, school at this point of the day. Could we do that? And like, as long as they had the parenting plan, they could. I told him that nothing had to change. And, I mean, obviously we're here, so like, that's not what he wanted. And I respect that. But that's why I started, because I knew that I would have to leave work early, and what job would allow you to work, what teaching job, I guess, would allow you to work Monday through Thursday and then be off on Friday.
To drive up to.
Right. So that was where the initial thought began.
Do you think you staying at home will provide your daughter with more consistency and just better care in general?
Absolutely.
How do you plan to support yourself though and your daughter financially if you're a stay-at-home mom?
My husband and I like have gone through the budget, like his income, like we've gone through the budget. We've made sure like it's going to work, and
Now, obviously, have y'all have not had a budget flying her to Tennessee 20
no.
times, 24 times. So that would you be able to do stay-at-home mom if you had to pay for 12 flights a year?
I don't know. Like, I think that would be a praying to Jesus kind of thing, praying for his advice, because I don't know if that would be something that I haven't looked at the figures. So
Yeah, it's hard to know flight costs ahead of time, but you know, have you made adjustments to your lifestyle and budget to make staying at home a possibility?
absolutely.
Okay. And you think you being in that role will be in the best interest of your daughter?
Absolutely.
And since you've been kind of, I guess, stay-at-home mom this summer, because you weren't working this summer, how has your daughter responded to that?
I mean, we've just had lots of time together, and I don't know, just building relationships. And
Absolutely. So that was, and I'm just going through the plan. You don't want to change anything as it relates to federal income tax or health and dental insurance. There was one part that you did want to change related to medical expenses. Could you kind of, and that's on page 6. That was under the uncovered reasonable and necessary medical expenses.
page 6.
That's what I've got.
Oh, wait, I see it now. So I just wanted to add in over-the-counter probiotics, because her physician requires her to have 2 probiotics every day. And that's been something that I've been paying for by myself, ever since then. I mean, it's like $50 a month. So,
Just help with that.
yeah,
Other than that, y'all have been working through. You're okay with dividing everything equally?
I guess. So.
I guess just generally, do you think if this were the plan that was ordered, do you think that you and the father could co-parent under this plan?
I hope so. I hope so, no matter what the parenting plan is. I struggle with believing. I just don't, I don't know. I don't know, because it's just felt like, um, the communication that I've tried, the things that I've tried, like, I'm like, he's going to continue to get my best when it comes to Emma, right? Like no matter what, I really worry that if she's under his care full time, what my relationship, how that will be damaged.
How does your proposed plan just generally serve the best interest of your daughter?
I mean, it takes away some of her travel time. It gives her longer weekends with her father. It gives her a much longer time in the summer with her dad. And I mean, the plan, in my view, like, a lot of this plan is so similar. I mean, I know that there's another weekend that he's traveling down there, but to me that benefits her. And it still gives them time together. But it's so similar. I feel like it wouldn't disrupt a lot of, it wouldn't be a huge change for her, except for the summer, and she would have more time with him. So
Does this plan allow you to continue managing her medical condition?
yes, outside of the 4 weeks that she's,
And does it support her relationship with extended family on both sides?
I mean, if he like lets them see her, I mean, that would be up to him for her to see them, during that time, right?
And what do you think the impact would be if the court decided today to flip-flop and make you an alternative residential parent and dad primary? How do you think that would impact Emma?
I mean, I first think about just her um little heart's enjoyment for church, being involved in a church community. And I know that it was mentioned that they've been a few times, but the one time that they went, she came back and she was like, I went to church with daddy. Like, she was so excited. And that happened. She told me that happened at one time. And obviously they might have gone other times that she didn't say, but she tells me, everything. And she was so excited when they went. And, there's been times, and they went on a Saturday night. So I was like, that's something that they actually can do. But I think that spiritually, that's not been something. I mean, when we were married, like, he didn't go to church with us often. Now, he did on occasion, but consistently, like, that was something that he felt like I was pulling him to do and he didn't want to do. So I do think spiritually she would suffer, and that's something that she's voiced an enjoyment of. She's known me, like, and consistently been with me from the very beginning. And I can't imagine what that change would do. And then I think that it would be detrimental to her relationship with my mother, because the relationship between them has completely stopped. I mean, there were times that I just don't know if he barely fosters a relationship. Like, I feel like and I shouldn't say that, because there have been times that he has said positive things about me where I could hear, like, in front of Emma. But it's a stretch, like, so I struggle with believing if he struggles with supporting that relationship, you know, would he support a relationship with her grandparents? And I mean, I don't feel like he's had enough, there's not been enough evidence to say that he would or would not foster like the whole medical, like, I mean, we're both, I think, just doing the best we can in that regard, you know? So, I mean, I would be worried about her. So,
And is there anything else before I turn you over to opposing counsel that you want Judge Wolfe to know?
I think everything's been said.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. Turn you over now.
All right, 12 after 4, Ms. Salinas, how long do you expect I assume you're gonna take a while? I don't want to limit you. All right, well, we're gonna adjourn for the day. Before we do, I want you to think about this. I want to ask you this question, and then you can follow up tomorrow with your lawyer or however you want to. As your lawyer pointed out, one of the things that I have to do is to determine who should be the primary residential parent. She asked you the question about the impact it would have on your daughter if I flipped it and he was the primary residential parent. My question to you is let's say that that is what happens and that I make him the primary residential parent. What would you want to have in the way of a visitation schedule for yourself?
What would I want to have for myself?
Yeah, I mean, if he's the primary residential parent and your daughter is living here primarily with him, how much time and what would you want with your daughter?
Do you want me to answer that now?
Yeah, well, you think about it. I'll let you answer that tomorrow. But that's one of the questions that I have to answer is who should be the primary residential parent? And if I make that change, I have to determine what you should have in the way of that. And this is it's not really a trick question, but it gives me insight because if you think that time with him is appropriate with your daughter, then what you've offered, then that should be appropriate for you, I would think, unless there's some reason it shouldn't be appropriate for you. I know you don't want to change the custody, but I'm saying if you look at it from the perspective of if you think he should be the one traveling down there one time a month, then why shouldn't you be the one traveling up here one time a month? I'm not suggesting that's what I'm going to do, but I'm suggesting that there's going to be a question asked either by Ms. Salinas or by me tomorrow to get your insight on what you think would be the schedule that you ought to have if he is the primary residential parent. Because it's not as simple as simply saying, this is what I want, and I either get to move or I don't. One of the options I have is to simply say, I'm going to change custody. There's a whole set of factors I have to determine. Another option I have is to grant your request, but I give him a different schedule than what you've proposed. Another option I have is to say that I'm not going to allow the move to take place, and you're going to have to live in the town that you and he committed and agreed to at that point in time, because you moved with, according to what I'm hearing, you may or may not have moved without having gotten permission of the court. So those are things that I'm going to have to deal with in this case. That's the reason I'm not going to keep going for another hour and then have to try to make a decision in the late hour of the day. I want to give you an opportunity to think about that. That's where we are. Your child is in the middle of this situation. There is no good answer for this. She loves her father. She loves you. It's an unfortunate situation that your daughter is going to have to be in a situation that I have to make the decision on how often she sees each of you. I don't want to do it. I would rather see you two come to an agreement, but I will do what the law requires me to do. We'll adjourn until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
All right.